You may also be asked to find the area of a triangle. So our formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So remember, going back to when we were first talking about triangles, the base and the height have to be those perpendicular. Okay, where you're talking about one side of the triangle is your base, and then the height is perpendicular to that. How tall up does your triangle go? Now, where this formula comes from is, again, if we look at a rectangle, the area of a rectangle, let me get my Sharpie out here, is base, I've got the screen, so I have base times the height. Okay, so there's my base, there's my height of my rectangle. Well, if I cut this rectangle in half by cutting along its diameter, sorry, its diagonal, having a little complications here. So I would end up with two congruent triangles, all from my same rectangle. Now, the area of this rectangle was base times height. One of these triangles would have half of that area because the two same triangles put together would give me that rectangle. So that's where this formula comes from. Okay, it's half the area of the rectangle formed by putting that triangle together with its identical triangle, or its parallelogram. Okay? Now, let's look at some examples. So we're going back to these triangles. Okay? I want to find the area of each of them. So for this triangle, I'm looking for that area is 1/2 base times height. I would always write down your formula, then go through and fill in your numbers. So we're looking for two sides that are parallel, one side of a triangle and then something parallel to it. We would be using these two numbers. We only need those two numbers in this formula. So for this, the area is going to be 1/2 times 4, my base, times this height of 2. So figuring that out, this triangle's area is 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, what about the units? Area is talking about how much it takes to cover something. So think of wrapping it in wrapping paper. That's two-dimensional. Or if I would give you graph paper, how many little squares would you need? How many squares that are inch by inch? Or squares that are a foot by a foot? Or squares that are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter? How many of those squares would it take to cover this triangle? That's why in area, you have units squared, because we're looking at how many little squares or tiles, however you want to think of that. How many does it take to cover it? Okay, so the area of this triangle is 4 square inches. So again, these two little lines mean inches. Now, going to our right triangle, we have the 3 sides, so we need to use probably 2 of these for our area formula. So I'm going to write down my area formula. 1/2 base times height. Now, I need a side of the triangle and the height that is perpendicular to it. Well, here's my perpendicular side, that right angle. So if I look at my 3 and 4, I can say that the 4 is the base and 3 is my height, or that the 3 is the base and the 4 is the height. Either way, I'll get the same answer. So I'm going to say that my 4 is the base, the 3 is the height. So multiplying those together, the area is 1/2 times 4, which is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. This was inches, and it's squared. Okay, now go into this one. I'll change colors because I'm getting kind of colorful up here. So the area is 1/2 base times height. So in this triangle, I'm looking for the side of the triangle and a distance that's perpendicular to it, that's the height. So here's my perpendicular sign, okay? So here would be my base. because this is one of the sides of my triangle, and then from that it would be 4 centimeters up to the top of that triangle. So my base is this 4, my height is this 4, so 1/2 times 4 is 2, times 4 would give me 8, so the area is 8 square centimeters.